Her necklace was gone. That's how it all began. Not with a shouting match, not with a slammed door, but with the quiet absence of a delicate silver chain that had never once left her neck. I only noticed because the faint indentation it left on her skin was still visible. I asked her about it. She said it snapped in the shower. I checked the drain. It wasn't there. The next morning, I found one of my hoodies balled up behind the couch. Tucked inside the pocket was a hotel key card, its back smudged with a bold red lipstick kiss. The problem? Our town doesn't even have a hotel by that name. So, like any spineless man in his 30s might do, I Googled it. Found it. 2 towns over, about an hour's drive. Room 217 was reserved under a name I'd never heard before, D. Riley. My last name isn't Riley. Hers never was either. I didn't confront her right away. I waited. That night I pretended to sleep, lying perfectly still while she sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling, smiling, typing messages, deleting them, retyping. At 12:42 a.m., she got up, grabbed her keys, and walked toward the front door. She moved with practiced silence, I'll give her that. She didn't even glance back to see if I was awake. But I was. I sat up and said only one thing. Go ahead. But the second you walk out that door, our marriage is over. Don't even think about coming back. She froze, halfway turned. That's when I saw it, the necklace. It hadn't vanished. She was wearing it backwards, and that was the last time she ever looked at me with anything resembling real emotion in her eyes. She left, and when she did, she took more than just a lie with her. She took the last fragment of whatever I had left to give. What she didn't know was that I'd already begun planning what came next. And if you think the missing necklace was troubling, just wait until you hear what I discovered in the glove box of her car the next morning. I didn't sleep after she left. I didn't even try. I just sat in the kitchen, staring at the untouched coffee pot, the one she never cleaned after using. For 12 years, I'd washed it every morning without fail, silently, automatically, as if it were part of breathing. But that morning, it felt different. Even the silence seemed to have given up, pretending we were okay. By 7:20 a.m., her car was still parked outside, which was strange. She never left it behind. She hated driving my truck, always said it felt like steering a refrigerator. So if she'd left without her car, someone else had picked her up, someone who'd planned it, someone who had room for her. Something shifted inside me then. Not jealousy, not exactly. It was more like confusion wrapped in humiliation. The kind you feel when you realize you're the last person to understand the joke at your own funeral. I walked out barefoot. It was October cold, the kind that bites through concrete and numbs your toes. I opened her car door and slid into the driver's seat, half hoping it would still carry her scent. It didn't. Instead, it smelled of a stranger's perfume, something sugary and sharp. Not hers, not mine. The glove box opened easily. Inside lay our old Polaroid camera. I didn't even know it still worked. We used to bring it on road trips, back when she still wanted to take photos with me. I pulled it out. Tucked inside were 3 fresh shots. I didn't want to look, but I did. Photo 1. Her sitting in a diner booth across from a man whose face had been deliberately cropped out. Photo 2. Her holding a champagne glass in a hotel room, room 217, wearing that backwards necklace. Photo 3. Her in that same room, holding up a note scrawled in her lipstick. Asterisk. It's not you, Ellis. I just wanted to feel alive again. Asterisk. I think I stopped breathing for a full minute. The kind of pause where time doesn't tick forward. It just drops off a cliff. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I gently placed the camera back in the glove box, as if it were fragile. Maybe because the man I used to be was still inside it, and I didn't want to shatter him all at once. But in that exact moment, sitting in her car, holding that photo, I made a decision. I wouldn't be the quiet one anymore. She wanted to feel alive again? Good. She was about to find out what it's like when the person you discard learns how to wake up. I wasn't seeking revenge. Not really. I was just desperate for answers. When you've spent over a decade sleeping next to someone, you start to believe you deserve at least one honest sentence. But I knew I wouldn't get it from her lips. So I turned to her laptop. She always left it on the kitchen counter, lid halfway open like a careless secret. She probably assumed I'd never check it, and for years, she was right. But that morning, I did. At first, there was nothing unusual, just work spreadsheets, food delivery emails, browser tabs filled with furniture she'd saved but never bought. Then, I saw a folder titled in all lowercase letters, Asterisk, Quiet Places, Asterisk. My hands started sweating before I even clicked it. Inside were dozens of screenshots, flight itineraries, text message threads, hotel booking confirmations, all dated over the past 6 months. She hadn't just been seeing someone. She'd been building an entirely new life outside our marriage. There was even a document titled Times Non-Negotiables Asterisk, typed out like a sick checklist. Asterisk, must be spontaneous. Asterisk, asterisk, no guilt trips. Asterisk, asterisk, no small town drama. Asterisk, asterisk, no one like Ellis. Asterisk, that last line nearly made me laugh. But from the sheer absurdity that my name had become shorthand for everything she despised, I didn't slam the laptop. I didn't break anything. I just sat there, staring at the screen like it was a gravestone with my name carved into it. Then the screen blinked. A new message popped up from someone named Tanner. Is greater than asterisk. So, did you tell him yet? He deserves to know you've chosen something better. Asterisk. I closed the laptop. No, she hadn't told me. She'd let me draw the line at the door. She didn't even have the courage to admit she'd crossed it weeks, maybe months ago. I guess she preferred me pathetic and clueless. Easy to leave. Easy to forget. But now, I wasn't clueless anymore. And that meant things were going to change, not with shouting, not with chaos, but with silence, with calm, with a plan. I wasn't going to beg her to come back. I wasn't even going to stop her. But I'd make sure the exit she chose came with a cost. And it would begin the next time she tried to walk through that door. The house was quiet when she returned. It was nearly 2 a.m., and I was sitting in the dark with a cup of cold tea. I had no intention of drinking. Headlights swept across the window. I didn't move. I wanted to see her face when the key didn't work. I changed the locks earlier that day not out of spite, but because it was the first thing I could control. I heard the doorknob twist. Once. Twice. Then harder. A pause. Then the soft thud of her shoulder against the wood. Finally, her voice. Ellis, are you serious? She knocked, then called out again. Her tone shifting fast from annoyed to sweet. The same voice she used when she wanted me to do her taxes or fix the garbage disposal. I didn't answer. I watched her silhouette pace across the porch. She called my phone twice. I let it ring. No voicemail. Then came the pounding. Not fists, but flat palms. Desperate, muffled, almost childlike. Ellis, open the door. This isn't funny. Still nothing from me. After a few minutes, I heard her footsteps retreat. She left without another word. I waited until her taillights disappeared before I let myself exhale. You'd think that would feel like victory. It didn't. It felt like standing in the rubble after pushing the last brick down yourself. The next morning, she texted, asterisk, was this really necessary? Can we talk like adults? Asterisk. I didn't reply. Instead, I packed up her things. Not everything, just the items she'd been quietly leaving behind as part of her campaign to live in two realities. The perfume, the books, the spare toothbrush, the charger she always borrowed but never returned. I dropped it all at her sister's house in silence. Then I drove out to the lake, the place we used to go when we had no money, no furniture, and didn't need either. I sat in the truck, watching ripples spread under a gray sky, and thought, asterisk, how do we get from here to hotel rooms and lipstick notes? Asterisk. My phone buzzed again. Another message, but not from her. From Tanner. Is greater than asterisk. I hope you're not making this harder than it has to be. She deserves to be happy. Asterisk. That's when I realized it wasn't just her betrayal. He thought he had the right to speak for her for times as if I were just a footnote in their story. But I wasn't done yet. I didn't reply to Tanner. Anything I sent would sound weak, no matter how clever I tried to be. And the truth was, I didn't want a digital fight with a man who didn't mind wrecking someone else's life just to feel special. But I knew who times should see his message. I forwarded it to Karen, no caption, no explanation. Just that smug little line. Asterisk. She deserves to be happy. Asterisk. She read it within seconds. 3 minutes later, she replied, asterisk. Please don't drag this into drama. Asterisk. Asterisk. Drama. Asterisk. That's what she called it. Not betrayal. Not abandonment. Just times. Drama. Asterisk. I stared at her reply until my screen dimmed. Later that evening, I logged into our joint cloud storage account, the one we used for photos, tax documents, and vacation plans we never took. She hadn't updated it in over a year, but something made me check the notifications. That's when I saw it. She'd recently moved several folders out of our shared space. They were labeled with initials times E+J asterisk, asterisk, Montana trip, asterisk, asterisk, Breeze Point, times each dated within the last 6 months. I wasn't sure what burned more, the lies, or how lazy she was in covering them up. Did she really think I wouldn't notice? I clicked times restore all times, not to be petty, but to remind her that I still existed. That she hadn't just deleted me like some forgotten file. Then I made one final change. I renamed the main shared folder, asterisk, asterisk. You left first, asterisk, asterisk. She deleted the entire folder within minutes. I knew she'd see it as an attack, but it wasn't. It was just the only truth I had left. I hadn't pushed her away. I hadn't screamed. I hadn't cheated. I didn't run to someone else when I got bored. I stayed. I tried. I lost. And yet I was still the villain in her story. But not for much longer, because I had one more message to send. One she wouldn't be able to delete. I never planned to send the letter. It started as a midnight vent, something I typed when my chest felt too full and my hands wouldn't stop shaking. It sat buried in my drafts folder for weeks, titled Times for No One asterisk. I wrote everything I didn't have the spine to say out loud, not just about the betrayal or Tanner, but about the nights I slept on the couch because I thought she needed space, not realizing she just didn't want me in the bed. About the time she cried in the car for 30 minutes and refused to tell me why. And I blamed myself for 3 days straight. I wrote about how, even back then, I knew I was more times, convenient times, than loved. It was raw, too raw. I would have left it buried if I hadn't received the envelope. It came on a Thursday, no return address, no note inside, just a photo, a candid shot of her and Tanner at an outdoor cafe, his hand on her thigh. Her sunglasses pushed up, like she didn't care who saw. The timestamp in the corner, 3 weeks before she left. That was it for me. I printed the letter, folded it, sealed it in an envelope with no name on the front. Just one line, scrawled in my worst handwriting. Asterisk. You should have just told me. Asterisk. I left it in her mailbox the next morning. No knock, no confrontation. I didn't want to see her read it. I didn't need her reaction, but I got one anyway. That evening, she called. I didn't pick up. She texted 5 times in a row. No apologies, just questions. Asterisk. Where did that photo come from? Asterisk. Asterisk. Did you follow me? Asterisk. Asterisk. Why are you doing this? Asterisk. I ignored them all. Then, late that night, she sent one final message. Asterisk. You weren't supposed to find out this way. Asterisk. I stared at that sentence for hours, not because it surprised me, but because it confirmed everything I already knew. She never planned to confess. She just planned to disappear when it got messy. But now she knew I wasn't going to stay silent anymore. And neither was someone else. Because the photo didn't come from me. The envelope didn't come from me. And I hadn't told a soul. Not my brother, not my coworker, not even my barber, who talks more than he cuts. That photo, that precise angle, it wasn't taken by accident. It was intentional. Taken by someone who times wanted, times me to see it. That should have scared me. But it didn't. For once, I felt like I wasn't the only one seeing the truth. 3 days later, I found another envelope. Same plain style. Same silent delivery. This one had no picture, just a note printed on plain white paper, typed with no signature, is greater than asterisk. She told him you were sick, mentally unstable, that you threatened her. That's how she made it okay. Asterisk. I dropped it. My hands were shaking not from rage, but from humiliation. She hadn't just cheated. She'd rewritten the story. She'd erased the husband who folded her laundry and called in sick to care for her during migraines, and replaced him with a caricature, a man who could be easily abandoned. I sat on the hallway floor for hours. The carpet left lines in my arms. I couldn't move. The truth hit harder than any punch ever could. She needed me to be the villain, so she could sleep at night. But someone else was watching. Someone who wasn't buying her version. I stared at the note again and noticed something strange. A faint watermark at the bottom, barely visible, like a shadow. A name, asterisk, Devin M. Asterisk. I didn't know any Devins. At least, I didn't think I did. So I searched not on Google. I didn't want a digital trail. I went old school. I logged into our long unused family Facebook account, the one we'd made years ago to share vacation photos with her cousins. I typed the name in. There he was, Devin M. Tagged in a post from 2 months ago, smiling at a wedding, standing right next to none other than Tanner. Asterisk, best man. Asterisk. That's when it clicked. The person feeding me the truth wasn't a stranger. It was his Times friend. Someone from Tanner's inner circle who'd seen enough to feel disgusted. Someone who knew she wasn't just walking away from me. She was walking times on times me. And suddenly, I wasn't alone anymore. Someone else wanted her mask to fall off too. I never confronted Devin. I didn't need to. He'd already done what I couldn't. Held up a mirror to the mess they'd made and forced them to see it. I kept the notes, the photo, every message, not for revenge, not even for closure, but as proof that I wasn't crazy, that I was never the man they tried to paint me as. A week passed, in silence. Then, late one night, she showed up. I saw the headlights sweep across the driveway. Same car, same rhythm, in how she parked. The door clicked shut softly before she stood on my front step phone in one hand, the other curled into a fist she didn't know what to do with. She knocked gently at first, then with more urgency. I stayed behind the curtain, heart pounding but calm. She called out, "Ellis, I just want to talk." But talking was what I'd begged for months. Now it was too late. I didn't open the door. Instead, I picked up the suitcase by my feet, packed 2 days earlier, and walked out the side door, past her, past the porch, past years of pretending. I didn't look back. I drove 5 hours north to a cabin my uncle left me in his will. I hadn't been there in years, But when I opened the door, it smelled like cedar and peace. No perfume, no lies. I spent the next 3 weeks doing things I hadn't done in ages. Cooking without rushing, sleeping without waiting for footsteps in the hallway, writing without second-guessing every sentence. I started smiling at strangers, saying yes to things, saying no without guilt. Karen texted once, asterisk, "I'm sorry, I really am," asterisk. I didn't reply because I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done, and being done felt better than I ever expected. For the first time in years, I felt free. Thanks for following.